You're not checking your phone because you're bored. You're checking it because some part of you still hopes something changed. A message, a call, anything. And it hasn't. And you know it hasn't. But you check anyway. If that hits close to home, this video is for you. Maybe it ended fast. One conversation and everything just stopped. Or maybe it was slow. You felt the distance growing for weeks, and you kept telling yourself it would be fine. Until one day it wasn't. Either way, you end up in the same place. Lying awake at 2 a.m., replaying conversations, wondering what you could have said differently. Scrolling through old photos like that somehow makes it hurt less. It doesn't. And here's the thing. None of that is weakness. Here's why. When you're close to someone, your brain maps them into your life. They become part of how you regulate your emotions, your routine, even your sense of who you are. So when they're gone, it's not just loneliness. It's disorientation. Your brain is genuinely searching for something it relied on, and it keeps coming up empty. That's why the memories won't stop. That's why you keep going back. Your nervous system is trying to close a loop that won't close. And because of that, there are 5 mistakes almost everyone makes in that space. Some of them feel like healing, but they're not. And they make the pain last a lot longer than it needs to. The first mistake is treating staying in contact as closure. You tell yourself you just need one more conversation, one real answer, one explanation that finally makes it make sense. But most of the time, that conversation doesn't give you closure. It just reopens the wound, and you leave it feeling worse than before, with new things to replay at 3 a.m. Real closure usually comes from inside you, not from them. And this is where things get really difficult. The second one is only remembering the good parts. This one is sneaky. Your brain doesn't replay the arguments, or the quiet resentment, or the nights you felt completely alone while they were right next to you. It shows you the highlights, the trips, the laughing, the early days. That's not a fair memory. That's your brain protecting itself. Try writing down the full picture, the hard parts too. Not to convince yourself it was bad, but because grief built on a half-truth keeps you stuck longer than grief built on reality. But something much harder to catch than this is hiding underneath the surface of what looks like moving on. Mistake 3. Fast-forwarding the grief. You download a dating app 3 days later, not because you're ready, but because the silence is unbearable. You book every weekend for the next month so you never have to sit alone with it. You stay busy enough that you almost forget. Almost. That's not healing. That's avoidance with a better PR strategy. The grief you skip over doesn't disappear. It just shows up later. Usually at the worst possible moment. In a new relationship, in a quiet room you weren't expecting, in a song that comes on when you're driving and suddenly you can't breathe. Give yourself the space to actually feel it now so it doesn't ambush you later. Which is why this next one is so easy to fall into for so long. The fourth error is losing yourself in the why. Why did they do this? Why wasn't I enough? Why did it end this way? The mind wants answers. It wants a clean explanation that makes the pain logical. But sometimes there isn't one, and the search for it keeps you living inside the relationship long after it's over, running the same loops, reopening the same wounds, looking for a door that isn't there. At some point, the question that matters more isn't why it ended. It's, who am I now, and where do I go from here? And underneath all of that searching, there's something deeper that quietly gets lost. The last mistake is forgetting who you were before them. In a longer relationship, it's easy to lose track of yourself, your interests, your friendships, the things that used to feel like you, before everything got filtered through someone else. This is actually the part that heals you, not getting over them, getting back to yourself. The version of you that existed before them hasn't gone anywhere. They've just been buried under the weight of the loss. And finding them again, slowly, without pressure, is how you actually come out of this. Right now, it probably feels like this is just what your life is going to feel like from now on. It won't. Healing isn't a straight line. Some days you'll feel fine, and the next day something small will catch you off guard. A place, a smell, a song, and you're back at square one. That's not failure. That's just how this works. The love you felt was real. The fact that this hurts means something mattered. You don't need to erase that to move forward. But slowly, not all at once, not on any particular schedule, the memories start to lose their edge. You'll think about them and it just won't break you the way it used to. One day you'll wake up and realize you didn't think about them first thing in the morning. That day is coming. Be patient with yourself until it does. If this helped, share it with someone. Sometimes the people who need it most won't ask for it. They'll just watch something like this at 2 a.m. and feel a little less alone. And if you want more content like this on relationships, drop a comment telling me what angle you would love me to explore next. Your response matters a lot to me. Also, remember to subscribe so you don't miss our next upload. Until next time, be careful out there.